It's not the main event, but it might as well be. Nearly 4,000 entrants, the fourth largest field in World Series of Poker history. And big-time crowds bring big-time cash, over $800,000 to the winner.
The money's what I'm after. Nice cash.
Many familiar faces have come and gone, yet there is one player still on everyone's mind.
Chris Ferguson. Jesus Ferguson.
The man they call Jesus, Chris Ferguson, is seeking his astounding 6th bracelet.
I'm looking forward to winning another.
But no one else at the table is going to back down as they seek their first.
I want to take the bracelet.
It's every poker player's dream.
I'm trying to bring the bracelet home, man.
Oh, my God. Will Ferguson add to his growing legacy, or will another man begin scripting his own?
I never give up. I've already beat 3,900 players, 9 more to go for that gold bracelet.
Welcome to the Rio and the World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. I'm Lon McCarran, along with Norman Chad. Pros dominated the first final table of the 2008 World Series, but this table is headlined by one dominating pro, Chris Jesus Ferguson, who is looking for his first bracelet since 2003.
Great, the sunglasses are going on.
Sunglasses on. Uh-oh. Let's all start singing the song, Jesus Christ, Superstar.
This Jesus is a poker superstar. Chris Ferguson, the 2000 main event champion.
He finds himself right now in the middle of the pack at this final table, but within striking distance of chip leader James Akenhead. Theo Tran and Ferguson, the only two who have final table experience. Grant Hinkle and David Bach are the two short stacks.
And there is the chip leader, James Akenhead, a 24-year-old former train driver from London.
The blind started 20 and 40,000, and on the Milwaukee's Best Light pocket cam, Akenhead with ace-4 of clubs. And he will not play this hand. Action on Grant Hinkle. And he gives it up. Over to Jeff Wiedenhoff, 51-year-old machinist and volunteer fireman from Wisconsin. King 10 offsuit.
Raise.
This is the largest non-main event field in World Series history. On breaks, Lon, they could charge admission into the men's bathroom here.
He's going to raise it up to 125,000. Action over to David Bach, the short stack at the table. He will not risk his chips with that hand.
3,929 entrants, and I didn't owe any of them money. What's the chances of that?
No kidding. Mike No, 32 years old, cash game player from L.A. with ace-10.
I will plead with the poker community again. Lose the sunglasses. Be a man.
He's in the small blind, makes the call. It cost him 105,000 more.
Plus that shirt. What is this, Saturday Night Fever?
No, and Wiedenhoff heads up, going to the flop, the first one of this final table. 8-7-6, all hearts no with a flush draw. Both pick up gut shot straight draws.
Boy, No had him dominated before the flop, and as you mentioned, now picks up that flush draw.
No first act. He will check it to Wiedenhoff.
I'm all in.
And he moves all in. 750,000 more.
That's one gambling machinist. I guess he's figuring the flop completely missed No. And this actually would be for more than half of No's chips.
I call.
And he calls with ace-10.
Oh, I thought I had a heart.
Oh, are you kidding me?
I'm sorry, I screwed up. I messed up. I screwed up. I thought I had the king of hearts.
You've got to feel bad for Wiedenhoff. First hand, final table, and he misread his cards.
I thought I had the king of hearts.
Well, it wouldn't matter. He had the ace on.
Yeah, I know. When it made a difference, I messed up seriously.
Wow, Jeff thought he had a king-high flush draw.
I made a mistake. I thought I had a heart. I screwed up.
He said he was nervous coming into the day, and the nerves came into play here.
My first final table, I screw up.
Well, he's going to need help. And turn card. Oh, is an ace for No.
That's close to ending it for Wiedenhoff.
Oh, you got a straight draw?
Hey, Mike, pay attention. You both had a straight draw already.
Jeff just looking to survive with a chop.
I misread my hand. I'm so damn nervous.
Wiedenhoff will need a non-heart 9 to split the pot, or he's out of here.
And the river card is a queen, and that will end the tournament for Jeff Wiedenhoff.
I misread my hand. Good tournament. No, it's not a good tournament.
This is exciting. I didn't know how nervous I'd be. Like, it's like a sporting event.
Like a sporting event. What do you think this is, Yahtzee?
So Wiedenhoff will take home over $52,000.
I read my cards wrong.
That's all right. That's all right.
His whole family's here, and boy, does he need them now. Norman, clearly poker is a game that requires control, composure, and the ability to keep your cool. And you talk to most players, and they will tell you nobody on the poker planet does that better than Chris Ferguson.
Lon, I have studied Chris Ferguson for years now. He has no tells. No tells at the poker table, no tells on the dance floor, no tells at the supermarket, no tells in the confessional. No tells. So for those of you out there today at the final table trying to get a read on Jesus, good luck.
So one hand, one player out. Jesus and 8 others now continue their marathon run for the bracelet.
I don't think I've played this much consecutive poker without any music.
I know, huh? The iPod, yeah.
It's weird. I'm singing all these songs to myself. He got that Jesus is all right with me song stuck in my head.
Yeah.
You got any songs stuck in your head, Lon?
Oddly enough, the Carpenters' Rainy Days and Mondays. 44-year-old Joe Rutledge playing in his 15th World Series of Poker. This is his second cash. It's from Pasadena, Texas. Hinkle folds. David Bach from Athens, Georgia will get out of the way. And with such a large field, they've been playing into the wee hours of the morning each night. It has been a grueling journey so far.
They look a little ragged. They look like me.
Joe Rutledge, former Navy man, once was stationed on the USS Enterprise, pocket sixes.
Rutledge learned to play poker when he was in high school.
I'm all in.
And he says all in. 520,000 chip raise. Melvin Jones now, factory worker from Kentucky, says no thanks.
He learned to play poker when he was working at Domino's.
Next in line, Theo Tran, a good pro from here in Las Vegas.
I think he learned to play poker pretty much out of the cradle.
And Chris Jesus Ferguson now,
who learned to play poker when he was born on Jupiter.
Ace-9 offsuit.
Well, Ace-9 was Chris Ferguson's final hand when he won the main event in 2000. He has a fondness for it.
He's in the big blind. And he will make the call.
I've got a pair.
I got overcards, I hope. I got my hand.
Ace-9, Chris?
My hand, how can I fold?
Oh, you said it. You said it was your hand against, Ace-10. I forget Ace-10.
Actually, it was the Ace-Queen of TJ Cloutier that Jesus beat to win in 2000.
If I win this, I get to be a hometown hero. I beat a hometown hero.
You get to beat the hometown hero.
Right now, Ferguson, the hometown hero, is trailing the pocket sixes of Rutledge. Rutledge is all in. This would be a nice pot for Ferguson to take early on. Here's the flop, and there is an ace, and Jesus does take command.
I might have had Ace-10 or Ace-Queen.
Joe's 18-year-old daughter sent him a text asking for Chris Ferguson's autograph. Well, he might want to get that autograph sooner than later.
Turn card is a queen. No help to Rutledge. Rutledge, a former poker dealer, looking for help to extend his stay.
Rutledge needs a 6 and a 6 only, or he is gone.
And now the river card is a 7. And some people in the crowd thought it was a 6, but Rutledge is gone in 9th place, done in by Chris Ferguson.
I told them.
He'll take home over $83,000.
How did it call with Ace-9?
By putting his chips into the middle and then taking them back at the end of the hand.
So a good old combo comes together again. Ferguson and Ace-9, and Jesus is more than just all right. Welcome back inside the Rio, and there again, Jeff Wiedenhoff still hanging his head over his abrupt elimination.
I can't tell you how many times I've misread my cards, Lon. My second marriage, for instance.
All right, we continue now. 8-handed. This $1,500 no-limit final table. David Bach gives it up. Action to Mike No, and he folds. Melvin Jones looks at 7-6 offsuit, and they go into the muck. This is his first World Series of Poker tournament. Theo Tran, Jack-7.
Theo Tran doesn't have sunglasses, but he's apparently unaware we're in the middle of the desert.
A raise to $110,000. Ace-Jack for Chris Ferguson. He's got a bunch of new chips now to play with.
The key to Jesus is that his blood pressure is 0 over 0.
He's reaching for chips. It's not his lucky Ace-9, but he'll play the suited Ace-Jack.
Well, the key for Theo now is to make less movement than Jesus does. That's a tough one, Lon.
A wise thing when you're in the middle of the desert, too. They go heads up, and the Jack hits both players. Ferguson with the advantage.
Theo's got a lot of little ticks and movements. Jesus has no pulse.
Theo also has kicker problems, but he's going to bet $165,000. Tran's posse includes new bracelet winner Nanad Medic on the left and two-time bracelet winner Jeff Madsen.
Theo will wait for Jesus. Jesus will make no call before it's time.
He will make the call, though. I guess he's going on faith that Theo does not have the queen. Turn card, king of clubs, and that gives Ferguson a royal flush draw. Theo Tran.
Check.
Checks this time.
Ferguson says it's important to stay relaxed. The way you don't give out information to opponents is not to worry about it, he says.
Both check to the river. And it is another club, and Ferguson with that check mark as he hit his nut flush. Theo Tran. Checks it.
See, Jesus doesn't look any differently there than if he were facing murder charges.
Ferguson with the best hand goes for $400,000.
Look, he's the human still life.
Theo looking at 2 overcards plus possible straight and possible flush on the board.
Well, if Theo lays his pair of jacks down, he can get out of here without too much damage.
And he will fold it. So Ferguson rakes in another pot. No surprise, really. Chris's skills have stood the test of time against fields large and small.
When I won the main event, there were 512 entrants. I had to beat 511 people. This year, in this event, there are over 3,900 players. Just making the money, there were still 380 players left. So it's like, after making the money, I still have to win a main event. When I'm at the table, I'm really serious. I'm really concentrated on what I'm doing. I'm just trying to make the best decision at every point in the hand. You know, sometimes I see poker players that kind of give up. They're not really used to playing in such large fields with almost 4,000 players. They lose a big stack, they lose 90% of the chips, and they just basically move in blind with anything. They've given up. They've mentally given up. I never give up, and obviously that's worked well for me.
Chris Ferguson is your champion.
Having a little bit of patience really pays off in poker.
As Chris says, he doesn't give up. In this tournament, he had only 7,000 left in chips when the blinds were 4,000 and 8,000. He went all in from the small blind with 10-9 against Ace-King. He won that one, and he hasn't looked back.
7 players to go before Chris can claim bracelet number 6. And one of the men he has to go through is Grant Hinkle. Hinkle with Ace-King offsuit.
Grant had a flight going back to Kansas City the first night of this event. He then changed it to the next night, then the following morning, then to that night, and now he's changed it a 4th time because he made the final table.
His brother Blair in the red sweatshirt and their mom Lynn. Blair is a full-time player. Hinkle raises it to $125,000. Over to Theo Tran at his 3rd World Series of Poker final table. Ace-7 suited.
Theo lives in Las Vegas, so he probably just walked here.
He makes the call from the big blind for $75,000 more, and these two will go heads up. Hinkle with the advantage with that Ace-King. The flop is 4 deuce-queen. It misses both. Hinkle still leads with the Ace-King.
I'm really concerned about these flops this year, Lon. They're just not good.
Tran checks, and Hinkle checks the flop as well. All right, now the turn card. Hinkle still ahead. 5 of hearts. And the same gut shot straight draw for each player now.
Well, if you want it, you can have that pot right now. Either player. It looks like Theo decides he might want it.
Theo reaching for chips, and he makes it $175,000, a little more than half the pot.
Call.
And a call from Grant Hinkle.
I didn't expect that. It could be a fancy call to bluff move, or maybe he's just trying to impress his mom.
So Tran tried to buy it, but Hinkle was having none of it. And now the river card is an 8 of hearts. Hinkle earns the check mark with that Ace-King that he started with.
Well, neither player has much of anything. If deuces were wild, they both have a pair of aces.
Tran checks his weak ace. And now Hinkle. And he is going to move all in. Wow.
Well, he was calling the bluff, and he might have been bluffing off all his chips, except for the fact that he's bluffing with the best hand. And Grant has gotten lucky here. I think he's trying to get Theo off of a marginal hand, maybe a small pair. But Tran doesn't even have that.
Wow. And Theo Tran forced to lay it down after the river again. And the Hinkle contingent loves to see that.
Lynn Hinkle is happy that her son is out of harm's way.
That was so scary.
Well, No Limit is often about playing your opponent more than the cards. Good stuff from Grant Hinkle there.
The 2008 World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. Bracelet event.
Welcome back to the Rio, where Jeff Wiedenhoff still can't shake off misreading his cards.
I was so nervous.
Now, don't worry, Jeff. Everybody has done something embarrassing at the poker table, as we found out in this edition of The Nuts.
Sometimes I'm watching a show on television that I'm on, and I'm like, oh, God. Everything's bigger and better, baby.
I can remember spilling food all over myself. Yeah, I think it was spaghetti and meatballs.
What's the most embarrassing thing? I don't know, playing in a diaper wasn't really that cool.
The thing with Greg Raymer, I mean, I was just having fun. Blah, 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 blah.
I got big cojones. You got little cojones.
Of course, I never thought in the world he would ever win this tournament.
You had to feel for him because you knew he was going to look like an idiot on national television.
No!
I don't know that it's like one thing, but there is a thing that happens at a poker table. And that's when you go, you know, I've got a heart flush. And you turn over like the jack of diamonds and the three of clubs. You know, you don't even have one heart in your hand, and you needed two.
If I can do all the dumb things I do and still come in to see you guys every year, then I guess I don't embarrass easily.
I've seen many people sleeping at the poker table.
The most embarrassing thing that's happened to me at the poker table is losing.
I'm never at the poker table long enough to be embarrassed, Lon. Jeff Wiedenhoff should be proud of how well he played to get here.
Well said, Norman. Good job, Jeff. 8 players remain. To our champion tonight, over $831,000. Grant Hinkle just got a bit richer in that last hand, and action will be on Grant. And he will not play this one. Over to David Bach, former professional bowler, picks up the 7-6.
Well, I'm impressed with the bowling. I mean, he used to be a bowler, and now he's a professional poker player. If he likes watching TV all night and sleeping till noon, he could be my ideal man.
And with that 7-6 of diamonds, he's going to raise it to $130,000. Melvin Jones, 4-deuce. No thanks. Theo Tran, Jack 9 of diamonds.
I'm sorry, Theo. Are we boring you?
Well, how much?
130.
Get your head in the game, son. 800 grand to the winner.
Theo in the small blind. He'll get a small discount. 105,000 more. He makes the call. And his buddies now perk up. Hope Theo perks up.
Yeah, they look more into it than he is.
Chris Ferguson now on the uptick at this final table. Ace-10, another playable ace.
Chris Ferguson now has 45 World Series cashes since 1998, the most in that span, one more than Phil Hellmuth. Chris is just beyond human.
From the big blind, he calls for 80,000 more. So 3 players will see the flop. Right now, Ferguson with the advantage with that ace-10. Now the flop. It is king 9-5. Tran pairs his 9 to take the lead. David Bach picked up a gut shot straight draw, and his mirror image, Chris Ferguson, missed the flop. Tran first to act, and he'll check his 9s. No reason for Ferguson to bet.
Chris doesn't even check like other humans.
Everyone checks to the turn. Turn card, Tray of Hearts, double belly buster now for Bach, but Tran still leads.
Well, Theo looks either weak or disinterested.
Yeah, he does check it over to Ferguson. Ferguson did not improve, so he'll check it. And Bach, who says he can tell how intelligent someone is by looking into their eyes, moves all in.
Well, I can't see David Bach's eyes, but how about how he's played his hand? Short stacked, he raised pre-flop with 7-6. Now he goes all in on the turn on a draw. He is reading weakness behind those sunglasses from Tran and Ferguson.
All right, I'm all in.
And Tran is going to come over the top and move all in with the best hand.
But boy, that was a tough decision for Theo for almost all of his chips.
Jesus folds.
I hope I made a good read.
Good call. I got to catch a card.
A good read by Tran as Bach will need to catch his straight to win the hand. And the nod medic sees his buddy Theo Tran with a lot of chips at risk.
Jack 9.
Theo turns over the Jack 9 of diamonds. David turns over the 6, 7 of diamonds.
I knew he'd turn a draw. He overbet all in. I knew he'd turn a draw.
Theo Tran with shades of Kenny Tran. A great read for almost all his chips.
One card to come. Bach at risk.
Thank you.
Bach now looking to make his straight. He needs an 8 or a 4 or he is wamboozled.
And now the river card is a deuce, and that will finish it for David Bach.
Great read and a big hand for Theo Tran.
And that read is good enough to make it our Planter's Good Instinct moment. Bach will go out in 8th place and win almost $118,000. And a good turnaround for Theo Tran after a couple of tough hands. He knocks out an opponent and pads his chip stack in the process.
The Planters Good Instinct moment is brought to you by Planters. Instinctively good.
Back inside the Rio where poker is alive and well. This event began with almost 4,000 players, Norman. Amazing.
Lon, this year's Boston Marathon had 25,000 entrants, but they didn't have to pay $1,500 each.
All right, action on Theo Tran. 10-8 of spades.
Theo says he was the black sheep of the family. His brother's an engineer, one of his sisters a lawyer, and Theo was sitting there betting hopscotch on lunch break.
He raises it to 150,000 chips. Action folds around to Mike No.
In the big blind.
No looks down at King 7 offsuit. Costs him 100,000 more, and he'll make the call.
Well, that's a call he didn't have to make, Lon. He'll be out of position with a junkyard hand.
All right, so 10-8 versus King 7. The flop is 7 Queen. Trey, no pairs, his 7 to take the lead.
But you know, Lon, this is the World Series of Poker. We need to see better flops. That one doesn't cut it with me either.
And No checks his middle pair. Tran now with nothing. He wants to put chips to work, and 200,000 is the bluff.
That's a continuation bet, but he could be continuing down a dark and stormy path.
No quickly makes that call. So Theo Tran in trouble going to the turn, and there is an ace, and that misses both, but maybe a scare card. No checks again.
Well, Theo Tran's got position. Let's see if he wants to use position again or just give up on this hand.
He's reaching for more chips. And Theo is going to figure 375,000 will buy it.
Theo with no pair and no draw. That's about half the pot. Mike's opened the door for Theo to steal the pot, but let's see if he can sniff out the bluff. He's bluffing, Mike. He's bluffing. Can he hear me?
And Mike No does release his hand. So Theo Tran steals this pot with a solid bluff. Mike No's chip stack will take a hit, but it's going to take more than that to rattle this man who has bounced back from much greater adversities in the past.
I'm from New Orleans, but I'm now residing in Los Angeles. I lost everything in Katrina. It was devastating. I couldn't believe it. I saw the flood stains of my ceiling, and I was like in awe. I was like, I can't believe water ever got that high. Everything I accumulated was just wiped out. It was one of the lowest points of my life. It took me a month to figure out what I was gonna do, but I kind of knew. I lost everything, and there's no reason for me to stay in New Orleans anymore. It opened me up to see what LA was all about. I saw how much money they had in Los Angeles, so I decided to move there and take my shot.
It looks like I'm stealing.
I just fell in love with the lifestyle.
I'll get the hang of this.
I just played my game. I'm used to being patient. I'm a cash game specialist, so I really don't play a lot of tournaments, but the overlay is so huge that I had to take my shot. I never thought I'd be a professional gambler. But somehow, as events unfolded, this is where I ended up.
I'll take this any day of the week.
Yeah, I'll take
that any day of the week.
I miss my family and friends there, but I go visit from time to time. New Orleans will always be my home, but LA's my home now.
In LA, they call Mike Fat Cat because he waits around for all the fishes and gets fat off of them.
He's looking at a very fat payday here.
$1,500 buy-in for a chance to win $831,000. Blinds are up to 30 and 60,000. Grant Hinkle's from Kansas. He markets software to Fortune 1000 companies.
Doesn't he have a flight to catch?
He did joke that he's going to have to win this thing to break even for all the airline charges. Mike No looks at pocket fours.
180.
And he will raise it up to 3 times the big blind.
Mike told us he wasn't worried about Chris Ferguson at this final table, but he was worried about Theo Tran.
And there is Theo Tran. Tran looks down at pocket aces. And No will have good reason to be worried about Tran now. And Theo just with the call.
Yeah, he will try to trap Mike No here.
Ferguson back to his patient ways, folds. And so Tran and No will go heads up again. And the flop is 6-10 Trey. That does not help Mike.
Yeah, there's another flop that I do not believe is World Series caliber.
Dealers are just getting started, maybe. No checks his small pocket pair. And Tran fires out with 180,000.
You should note all the small movements players make relative to Chris Ferguson, who, of course, never moves.
No makes the call.
He'll come along with the pocket fours, and he will be way behind Theo Tran.
So these men with even stacks will go to the turn now. Turn card is a jack. Does not improve Mike No's hand.
No started playing poker about 4 years ago. Theo's been playing forever.
No checks again. Tran. Doesn't see much out there that worries him. He'll make it 235,000 into a pot of 845. That's begging for a call.
He's stringing Mike No along in his hand.
And No will make that call.
And that expression from Theo is, what's up with that? No's getting 4.5 to 1 on his money, but he is drawing very thin.
So now the river card. Tran way ahead. It is a queen, and that gives Theo Tran the check mark. He has the best hand with the pocket aces. No first to act.
I'm all in.
And he moves all in.
Oh, my God.
A check call on the flop and on the turn, and now all in with a pair of fours against that board. What a heist No's trying to pull off.
Wow, you're so lucky. You don't know how lucky you are.
Norman, this is not a cash game where you can reload if you run out of chips. This is the World Series.
Flatter me on the flop.
You go broke, and it's over. What a gutsy move by Mike No.
No doing his best to represent a straight here.
Oh, my God, you don't know how lucky you are. Your only card is a queen.
His only card was a 4, but he's sure making it look like his only card was a queen. And now he's doing a Chris Ferguson impersonation over there.
I know you have ace-king.
Wow, he has fooled Theo Tran. And Tran is going to fold his aces.
Woo! Good lay down. Good lay down.
Oh, and No shows the bluff.
Woo! Good lay down.
I had aces.
You had the best hand then.
All right, rubs his nose in the bluff.
It's a good card for you.
Oh, I didn't have ace-king? Oh.
I could never do that, Lon. I'd sell my mother before I could bluff all in.
Let's play some cards, fellas.
That gave him the chip lead, but No's coming up short on humility.
The 2008 World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. Bracelet event.
Back inside the Rio, and as usual, several poker tournaments underway simultaneously, and a few 5-time bracelet winners at the tables today. There's Alan Cunningham.
He's Alan Cunningham.
And Phil Ivey, of course.
He's winning the main event, baby.
And Ted Forrest won his 5th in 2004.
He doesn't even look like a poker player.
And, of course, Chris Jesus Ferguson won his 5th bracelet in 2003 in the hunt for number 6 today. As we look at the current chip count, we see Jesus has some work to do. 5 players in front of him, but the spread from top to bottom not too wide. A double up at the right moment could put anyone in the lead. 7 players left. Mike No is the current chip leader.
That's going to hurt my image in my cash game. Oh, man.
What a play that was from Mike No.
Action on Mike. And he folds with a flourish.
He's going to stop doing it.
Mike.
Theo asking that Mike stop exposing his cards when he flips them into the muck.
All right, sorry about that.
He's warned about it, too. Action on Melvin Jones looks down at 9-7.
You ain't world champion yet, man. You made one play. You made one play. You ain't world championship.
I'm sorry, I had some beers in me.
No, it was a good play, but you ain't top dog yet.
I didn't say I was. 180. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, you're gonna say sorry now. It's all good. You made a good play, but I mean, you ain't the top dog.
I didn't say I was.
I think Theo Tran needs a timeout. There was a bet, right?
Yeah, Melvin bet $180,000, and it's good enough to take down the blinds and antes. But I think the long hours are beginning to wear on everyone. 55 bracelets will be awarded at this World Series, culminating, of course, in the main event. Tonight's winner will take home a bracelet and $831,000 in cash.
Theo might want to take a page out of Chris Ferguson's book. He says it's important to be emotionally detached from what's going on.
Ferguson with another ace, a small ace this time, and it goes into the muck. Next in line is Akenhead, who folds. Grant Hinkle, 5 tray offsuit.
Hinkle says sometimes he's Grandmaster Flash and sometimes he's Grandmaster Fish.
150.
Well, I'm not sure which one bets $150,000 with 5 tray off.
Well, if he's betting 155 tray off, I think he does want to make a flight really soon. He is aggressive.
And his mom, Lynn, very nervous anytime he bets. Action on Aaron Coulthard, a student at University of Waterloo in Canada, same school that bracelet winner Nanad Medic went to.
Aaron wants to be a kinesiologist. I can't spell that. I can't pronounce that. I don't even know what that is.
I thought you did a pretty good job. Has something to do with kinesiology. He will call with ace-jack. King, queen of hearts for Melvin Jones in the big blind.
Melvin learned to play poker when he was delivering pizzas at Domino's. Now I know why my pizza was always late.
Melvin now works the swing shift on line F at a factory where they package cake mix. 3 players to the flop. Flop is 4 deuce-deuce. Ace high still best for Coulthard.
But that's a pretty good flop for 5 tray. Hinkle now with the best chance of winning this hand.
Melvin Jones with king queen missed the flop. He checks.
300.
Hinkle, 300,000 on the draw.
Well, he's aggressive, and why not?
Continuation bet. Coulthard with the call with his ace-jack. And Jones will give it up. So we'll be heads up to the turn, Hinkle and Coulthard. Turn card now is the 6, and that gives Hinkle the straight and the check mark.
Grant's mother is going to like this one, Lon.
No kidding. And he coyly checks. Coulthard with ace high and a pretty innocuous board. Boy, he's going to bet 450.
Aaron takes a shot at the pot with squad-douche. Sometimes squad-douche is a pretty cool hand. Not here, Luke.
Well, let's see what cool hand Grant is going to do.
All in.
All in. What's Mom doing? On her feet.
Well, she is nervous. And this bet leaves squad-douche with 2 options. Fold quickly or fold slowly. Not much Aaron can do now.
Aaron tried to buy it with a bet after the turn, but he will give it up. And Grant Hinkle got a lot of value with 5 tray off.
Grandmaster Flash took more than half of Coulthard's stack.
So scary. Oh, man. I think I'm going to cry now. Oh, my God.
Don't worry, Len. Your boy's doing just fine. He's the new chip leader.
The 2008 World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light.
Back inside the Rio Poker Room, where Grant Hinkle and his family are celebrating his new status as chip leader. And make no mistake, the Hinkles know a winner when they see one. In this family of serious competitors, Grant is just one Hinkle in a long line who play everything for keeps.
Our family is extremely competitive. We even had like a 20 family member card game once, and there were people cheating, trying to win this tournament.
Oh, that's not cheating. My mother is a card shark, and if she beat them, she would do like a victory dance in their face. So they got very competitive at cards.
Yeah, Grandma's a cheater. You can quote me on that. My brother Blair, he's been making quite a splash in the poker world. He's only 22 years old, and he's had a lot of success.
Blair has always looked up to Grant, but, you know, they're brothers, so they've always been competitive. So I think it's great. It's motivation.
He's my younger brother. The ultimate goal is to win the bracelet. That would be huge bragging rights, and he would know about it the rest of his life until he gets one. If we're playing Uno, I'm going to be wearing the bracelet. If we're playing gin, I'm going to be wearing it. Like I said, we're a competitive family.
Mom says thank God for evolution. They keep getting smarter. Her boys certainly have a nice poker IQ. Blair cashed in last year's main event and just made the final table to a circuit event. And now big brother Grant, who says he would wear the bracelet to his family's Uno game.
All right, we are seven-handed for this $1,500 no-limit World Series gold bracelet. And Grant will sit this one out. Now Aaron Coulthard on the Milwaukee's Best Light Pocket Cam. He has pocket sevens.
Come on.
And moves all in for his last $500,000.
Aaron's a roommate at Waterloo is Stephen Paul Ambrose, another terrific Canadian poker player.
What are they feeding the guys up at Waterloo? Theo Tran now. Looks down at pocket aces again. 2 red aces this time. And Theo moves all in. He has Coulthard covered.
I ain't getting bluffed out this time.
All in pre-flop is bluff-proof for Theo's aces.
So Tran with a big advantage over Coulthard's pocket sevens.
Just get aces every hand, that's all I do. It's the only hand I play.
Well, that means he only plays one hand out of every 221. That's pretty tight.
He's already had aces twice today. The flop, oh, there's a 7 for Coulthard. Wow, what a blow to Tran.
Tran tormented yet again. And Coulthard loving life at the moment.
Boy, Theo cannot catch a break.
Theo might want to put that hood over his head.
Ace! Ace!
Mike No actually pulling for Theo. He wants to see another player get knocked out.
Turn card is a deuce. No help to Theo.
And Theo Tran is just a picture of frustration. Only an ace will send Aaron Coulthard out of here.
Coulthard looking to double up. Another deuce on the river. And Coulthard will win with the full house and double up through Theo Tran.
Pocket aces, bad news again for Tran.
Another tough beat, and Theo may be just fine not seeing aces again. Back inside the Rio, Theo Tran still smarting.
He's grinning at me like he's grinning at me like he's the
Let it go, dude. The best thing right now is not to you. Come on, man. Your face is all showing a bad expression. Just get the best of Theo.
They're right, Theo. You got to let it go. For example, I haven't thought about my first marriage for at least 2 weeks now.
Well, who can blame the guy? He has lost twice holding aces, and after taking that last hit, Theo Tran is the short stack with 7 players left. A bracelet and more than $800,000 in first prize money on the line.
And just a reminder, Chris Ferguson is still here, and he does not tilt.
Ferguson with almost 1.2 million chips. Action on Aaron Coulthard, and he's got those killer pocket sevens again.
Aaron promised his girlfriend if he finishes in the top 2 here, he'll come home. I think finishing third is the smart play for him.
He raised to $150,000. Mike No with pocket 4s.
Well, maybe a repeat performance from those pocket 4s. Let's see what they do.
$150,000 to him, and he will call. Melvin Jones, ace jack.
Come on, man.
And it's time to push all in.
Well, he'll probably end up going heads up against one of the pocket pairs.
Theo Tran next in line. And Theo now looks at 2 queens. The aces aren't working. Maybe the queens will.
Well, there's a pocket pair that Melvin Jones doesn't want to go up against.
Wow.
All right.
And Theo Tran will move all in. He's the short stack. Ferguson next in line now. He looks at ace 7. They go into the muck. Action on Hinkle. He folds. One small pocket pair folds, as does the other. So Tran and Jones heads up. Tran is the one at risk.
Theo never saw an ace hit the board when he had pocket aces. It would be really cruel if an ace hits a board now and knocks him out. Melvin Jones is in for most of his chips.
You weren't supposed to wake up with a hand, man.
Definitely some bad luck for Melvin Jones. All right, let's go to the flop.
Give it to me.
Flop is deuce 10-8. Tran still best. Nothing there for Jones.
Theo Tran hoping pocket queens are kinder to him than pocket aces.
Turn card now is a 6. No help to Jones. Tran still ahead with his queens.
Theo, of course, cannot feel comfortable. In for all his chips.
Jones will not be out if he loses, but it would be a serious blow to his chances.
Melvin Jones now knows what I feel like sitting at home waiting for my pizza. It never comes.
The grinder, Michael Mizraki, helping Tran deal with the stress.
Theo Tran has to dodge an ace to stick around.
Remember, Ferguson folded an ace. It is a 5 on the river. Tran will win and almost triples up thanks to all that pre-flop action.
And Melvin Jones is now crippled.
Nice play, man.
Yeah, it's bad timing, that's all. Bad timing for you, that's all.
No, I was... I wasn't supposed to wake up with a hand. Hell,
Jones now severely short-stacked under 500,000 chips.
It's a wrap now. It's done now. Send that guy back to L.A.
Theo still on Mike no tilt.
He's done. I got chips now, he's done. He's done.
Yeah, Theo's irritation with no is still festering. So still 7 players left, but as mentioned, one very short stack in Melvin Jones. Action will start on Aaron Coulthard. He gives it up, as does Mike No. And now Melvin Jones with Queen 10 of spades.
Oh, man.
And he's going to commit all his chips to Queen 10. And pocket aces again for Theo Tran. Is he going to fold them?
Yeah, I believe he is thinking of doing just that, Lon. The boy cannot win with pocket aces. I know it, you know it, he knows it. He's thinking about something, though.
He is going to think about it very carefully. 3 players left to act behind Tran, and he just makes the call.
Well, he's actually trying to trap someone behind him. I'm surprised. I would have thought he just would have pushed all in and gone heads up. Why take chances at this point?
So the players behind do fold, so Tran's aces will try to knock off Jones.
Oh, my God.
Everyone's surprised again at those pocket aces.
Man.
Well, you should have delivered my pizza on time, Melvin. This is payback.
Tran can't feel easy, though, with the aces.
Yeah, bad timing, man. I mean,
You have to feel bad for Melvin Jones, Lon. Back-to-back hands, he runs into a big pocket pair from Theo Tran.
I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on, man.
That's a live hand, though. I like it.
You should also like it because Theo Tran can't win with aces.
A lot of possibilities out there. Here's the flop. It is Queen, King 6. Jones paired his queen, but still trails.
But here he comes. Melvin's a 3-1 dog at the moment, but I like his chances.
Theo very nervous. Jones at risk. Turn card is an 8. No help to Jones.
Yeah, I don't like his chances as much now, but hey, I'm sticking with him. Lon, give me $100 to win on Melvin Jones. But Melvin is going to need a queen or a 10 or he is eliminated.
And now the river card. It's a 5, and that will end Melvin Jones' debut at the World Series. He finishes in 7th place and wins over $158,000.
Theo's happy, but he wants Mike No's chips.
We're done, man. We're done.
What a great run from Melvin Jones.
Yeah,
You better win, man. You better win,
Bad
man.
timing,
You got my
man.
chips,
I
man.
know.
You better win.
So Theo Tran finally sees his pocket aces pay off. He's got the muscle now to take on his nemesis, Mike No. But as this unpredictable final table continues, who will step up to take control? 6 remain, including the chip leader, Grant Hinkle, who is trying to make Mom proud. But the looming presence is still 5-time bracelet winner Chris Ferguson. For Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarran. We'll crown a champion next time at the World Series of Poker.
Shuffle up the deal.
Kramer wins it all.
Ozzy, Ozzy, Ozzy! I can dodge bullets, baby.
This is beyond fairy tale. It's inconceivable.
There it is! Doyle's done it! This is the greatest tournament in the world!
Nearly 4,000 entered. Only 6 remain, and tensions are running high.
I'm usually very friendly until somebody makes a play at me or sucks out of me.
Woo! Good lay down. Good lay down.
I can't be a but you ain't top dog yet.
Theo Tran's attention has been squarely focused on Mike No, who's not about to back down.
Let's play some cards, fellas.
But every player should be aware of one man, Chris Ferguson. Yes! The poker legend has been lurking, his sights set on a 6th World Series of Poker bracelet.
I'm going to start to gamble. I'm really going to go for the win.
The time is now for everyone to kick it into high gear, but only one player can take home poker's symbol of excellence. Welcome to the World Series of Poker presented by Milwaukee's Best Light with Norman Chan. I'm Lon McCarran. This event started with the 4th largest field in World Series history, and after many grueling hours of play at the Rio, we're down to a precious few.
Chip leader Grant Hinkle turns 28 later this week, trying to give himself a bracelet as a birthday present. 26-year-old Theo Tran wants the bracelet too, but along the way, he'd like to settle a score with Mike No. No created some bad blood with Tran when he showed a bluff that got Tran off his pocket aces. Meanwhile, 2000 main event champion Chris Ferguson has some work to do if he wants to capture his first bracelet in 5 years.
It was like 3 tables, you're in the cash. 1, it's like they're a lot easier in the old days. And some of them, you make the final table,
And it is the cash or whatever, yeah.
Nowadays, what? 400 people make the money and 9 make the final table.
Grant Hinkle right now does have a tenuous lead with 6 players left. Ferguson, the second short stack. Aaron Coulthard looking for the most help right now. The next player out will win nearly $212,000. The blinds right now are at 30 and 60,000. You're looking at Theo Tran. And on the Milwaukee's Best Light pocket cam, Theo is looking at pocket 7s.
You know, Lon, in the old days, we traveled in airplanes in a suit and tie. We got married and divorced in a suit and tie. We played cards in a suit and a tie. Not anymore.
Theo raises it to 175. Ferguson folded. Ferguson's girlfriend, Fabiola Gomez, on the right. And on the left is actress Shannon Elizabeth, here to cheer Chris on. Now to James Akenhead, who also will celebrate a birthday in a few days. He will turn 25. He's from London.
He is part of the hit squad there, sort of a younger, hipper Hendon mob.
And with ace-king, he will make the call. Mike No now from the big blind. Ace-jack of diamonds.
No, a successful cash game player in Los Angeles.
He'll make the call for $115,000 more. So 3 players to the flop.
Theo has his eyes on the flop and on Mike No.
And now the flop is 10 queen ace. Akenhead's king kicker providing the edge as 2 players hit their ace.
Akenhead and No don't want to make 2 pair. That would give the other the straight.
No checks. Tran with the pocket 7s will check also. There's a lot of overcards there on the board.
Akenhead checked, and I would have bet that baby $400,000 and waved to the crowd.
Nobody committing. Akenhead's buddies looking on closely. A 4. Akenhead is still best. No now. Reaching for chips. He'll bet $200,000. See where he stands. Tran will get out of the way.
And he's likely thinking bad thoughts about Mike No right now.
Now Akenhead with the best hand. Well, just a call.
Akenhead does have No in bad shape right now.
All right, now the river card heads up, and it's a jack, and that's Broadway for Akenhead, and he gets the check mark. No, with aces up, checks.
Akenhead goes from the best hand to an unbeatable hand here on the river.
And Akenhead will put forth $475,000.
He's bet about half the size of the pot, hoping to get paid off.
And No makes the call pretty quickly. And there is the winning hand from James Akenhead. No is disgusted. Akenhead's buds are happy.
Yeah, well done. I'm sold on the hit squad, Lon. The Hendon mob is so 20th century.
You're kicking yourself.
Theo Tran got out cheaply by folding, but he's not unhappy that his nemesis Mike No dropped almost 900,000 chips in that hand. In a tournament like this, Norman, if you manage to make it through the sea of thousands, you should get to know the few remaining players with you at the final table. But sometimes familiarity breeds contempt.
Yes, it does, Lon, but we've worked together a long while and still get along quite well.
The man of the hour is quite familiar, but breeds little contempt. Chris Ferguson going for his 6th bracelet. He may not get it, but I guarantee you he won't let emotion get the better of him.
There is Ferguson looking rather confident, but come to think of it, Norman, that's also Chris on tilt, or when he's holding the nuts, or when Chris is bluffing. This guy is hard to read.
And Chris Lon trying to conquer a field of 3,929, largest non-main event field in World Series history.
6 players left. Action on Mike No with ace-10.
I'm all in.
And he is going to push the action, moving all in. Just over 1 million chips.
They had 13 big blinds left, so he pushes. And trust me, Theo wants to take him out.
No doubt about that, but Theo does not have the cards to take on an all-in right now. Over to Chris Ferguson now. Ferguson looks at king deuce of clubs.
You know, I'm going to yell out fire and see if Chris Ferguson moves a muscle.
Chris folded, and kings for Akenhead.
I'm all in.
And he is going to move all in. He has no covered. Action on Grant Hinkle in the small blind, and he will say no thanks. I think his mom, Lynn, is happy about that. She doesn't have to get on her feet. Her son's been active. Big blind folds, and so it will be No and Akenhead going heads up with Mike No all in.
And Mike No pushed to the edge here. He's going to need help, and Theo Tran likes what he sees.
The kings of Akenhead right now in good position to knock off Mike No.
Good luck, bro. I'm rooting for you. You know I'm rooting for you.
Well, Mike No stands alone, and he's going to stand back and watch the overhead screen.
All right, now the flop with No at risk. And the flop, there's an ace for No to take the lead.
I told you it was coming. I told you it was coming. I wasn't even sweating it.
James Akenhead probably wishing Theo Tran wasn't sweating him.
How did bad plays get rewarded? How do bad plays get rewarded like that?
Oh, it looks like No might get paid off for playing that ace-10. Turn card now is a queen. Akenhead thought it was a king. One card to come.
You have a king?
Oh, maybe I did. I'm not sure.
Jesus did fold a king. Akenhead needs the last one on the deck to knock out No.
It's a 6 on the river, and Mike No will stick around, doubling up, hitting the ace on the flop.
And Akenhead loses about 40% of his chips on that hand.
And No struts around like the ace was a sure thing. No stays alive, so Theo Tran will have to endure his rival a little bit longer. Back inside the Rio poker room where Theo Tran seems a bit frustrated about Mike No dishing out a bad beat in that last hand to survive.
That's so horrendous. Because I want him out of here. How do bad plays get rewarded?
I don't think Theo and Mike are going to be shopping together at Banana Republic anytime soon.
All right, I think I'm back in it now.
Yeah, nice double up from Mike No. But his success has drawn resentment from his rival. But Theo Tran's jealousy goes beyond the success of his nemesis at tonight's final table. He is hoping to claim what he feels is rightfully his.
The World Series bracelet is the big thing. This is the big deal. And I think it's more that all my friends have a bracelet. I accomplished it. Jeff Madsen is a good friend of mine. Brandon Cantu, and then Nod Medic.
Medic is a bracelet winner.
David Williams is one of my really good friends now. It's so sick because all my friends have bracelets. And I'm like, I think I'm better than a lot of them. He's done. I got chips now, he's done. A lot of people think it could be arrogance and cockiness. But I'm on. But I'm just very confident in my game. That's just what keeps me going. You don't know how lucky you are. I'm always rooting my friends on, no matter what. I'm happy for them, but like I said, I'm envious of them too. I ain't getting bluffed out this time. And I want to be up to that level, but I just, I haven't hit it yet. Today will be the day. This is my time to shine.
He told us he believes he's the best player at the table. He talks the talk. Now he's got to walk the walk.
The bracelet is up for grabs. Only Chris Ferguson owns one of the remaining players. Only Ferguson and Theo Tran have final table experience here at the World Series. Mike No will fold. Hang on to the chips he just won from Akenhead, and Theo will get out of the way.
And you can just see Theo's stomach is churning. He's on the prowl. He wants to play.
He does fold. Ferguson folds over to James Akenhead. Been playing poker just 3 years, he says.
Akenhead drove elevated trains in East London for 2.5 years. I hope he was working for the train system.
With King Jack, he will make the call from the small blind for 40,000 more. Hinkle in the big blind with 9-4 will check his option. That will go heads up. 7-8-8. King high still good for Akenhead, and he checks.
I think it's possible Grant Hinkle's never been on a train.
Turn card is a jack, and Akenhead pairs his jack, solidifies his lead. Hinkle with a gut shot straight draw. Akenhead checked. Wow, Ma Hinkle seems a lot more calm lately, Norman.
She's taking a breather between big hands.
Her boy, Grant, is going to bet 150,000.
Boy, he's got 9 high and a gut shot. I think it's safe to say Grant wants Akenhead to take leave of this hand.
Exactly. Akenhead will call.
Akenhead, of course, paired the jack, and he has a good kicker.
All right, here we go to the river. And the river is a 10, and wow, he started with 9-4, and Hinkle hits the jack high straight.
And Grant Hinkle living large. He was only in the hand because he wasn't raised out of the big blind with 9-4, and he ends up making a straight.
Akenhead checked it. It's how much from Hinkle, not if. He makes it 400,000.
His brother Blair and his mother are going to like this one.
Now Akenhead has to wonder what Hinkle has that it's going to cost him 400,000, and he does call.
He says, "Show me the 9."
And there's the 9. Wow. A small raise pre-flop might have gotten Hinkle out of that hand, but as it was, he hits the straight and takes the pot.
The Hinkles are happy.
And why not? Grant with the big blind special got the 9-4, hit the straight. Not only is he taking Akenhead's chips, but he is also once again the chip leader at this No Limit Hold'em final table.
The 2008 World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. Bracelet event.
He began this final table second in chips here at the Rio, but Aaron Coulthard could not get any momentum and finds himself being knocked out in 6th place, done in by James Akenhead. Coulthard with a terrific run tonight, good for a payday of almost $212,000.
The Brit takes out the Canadian. They're still bitter about losing the Empire.
Akenhead among the final 5 of this final table looks a little nervous, but it's nothing like the pressure he faced in his old job as a train driver in England.
That's right, Lon. He once stopped too short of the station, and half the people on the train couldn't get off. I essentially did the same thing on the second night of my first honeymoon, and you know, that marriage was never right.
Akenhead still trails Grant Hinkle by more than 2 million chips. After that, it's a 3-way battle of the short stacks. 5 players remain. Action on Grant Hinkle. Hinkle looks down at Ace-Jack.
He is a marketing professional, says he'll consider quitting his job if he wins.
325.
From the small blind, he's going to raise it to 325,000.
I think he should quit his job even if he finishes 3rd.
I'm all in.
Ace-King and all in for Mike No. He's going to push again. So the re-raise back now to Hinkle.
Well, Theo Tran hoping Grant Hinkle can call him and beat him, but Hinkle is dominated if he gets into this hand against No. He certainly can afford it. If Grant thinks it's a coin flip, he will call.
Call.
And he does call for 1.3 million more. And No loves what he sees. Ace-King against Hinkle's Ace-Jack.
Yeah, No now in a terrific position to double up and become chip leader.
So Grant Hinkle taking a risk.
Not so good, Ma Hinkle.
I didn't think he had that big of a hand.
No, a 3-1 favorite with his Ace-King.
Jack! Jack!
Mike No calling for Hinkle to hit a jack.
Because I'm rivering the king.
Oh, he's got it planned out.
That makes sense, Lon.
Yeah. All right, the flop, 3-Queen-5. Ace-King still best for Mike No.
No now even in a better position. Grant Hinkle watching his chip lead slip away here.
Yeah. Blair and Lynn Hinkle looking on nervously. Got to be tough on a mom. Turn card is an 8, and No still leads.
Jack one time.
Jack one time? I guess it's reverse psychology.
Theo can't believe the gall of Mike No.
Only a jack will knock out Mike No.
I got a sense of humor.
And now the river card. Oh, it is the jack!
Not so funny, is it? And Theo feels vindicated.
Mike No called his own elimination. Wow.
For him to chant there, that's what he gets. That's what he gets. That's what he gets. That's what he gets. That's what he gets.
That's what he gets, Lon.
So Mike No knocked out in 5th place, wins over $268,000.
And I still think Grant Hinkle should quit his job if he finishes 3rd. That's nearly 400 large.
Grant began the final table in 9th place, has to be the favorite now. Blair and Lynn Hinkle can breathe a little easier, and the only thing better for Theo Tran would have been knocking out Mike No himself. Welcome back inside the Rio. Grant Hinkle has taken control of this tournament. He picked up more than 1 million chips with that knockout of Mike No, and now he has over half the chips in play.
What is going on? Your husband is playing an amazing game of poker.
Lynn Hinkle talking to Grant's wife, Kimberly.
Right.
Lynn has been behind her son throughout this tournament, which, as it turns out, hasn't always been a good thing.
He's the oldest of 4 boys, and so really I learned how to embarrass my children by starting with Grant and then working my way down.
Chris Ferguson got seated on my immediate left, and there's a pot going on, and she's like, Grant, Chris, turn around. I want to get your picture together. I was probably 5 sheets of red.
Thank you. But, I got a great shot. And he'll never forget it, No, I don't really know if Grant's talking to me right now. He may be wishing that I'd wear a disguise, but, I'm just going to be there to support him and hopefully sit by somebody that can tell me what's going on.
I tease about how she's embarrassing, but I really appreciate her support and know that even though she doesn't know what's going on in the hand, that she's behind me 100%, and no matter if I win or lose.
Grant says his mother talks too much. She told everyone around the table the other day that his strategy was to be aggressive, and he says his mom gives off more tells than he does.
All right, now she's getting a picture of Phil Hellmuth.
Phil always finds the camera. Man, shouldn't he be on a Bad Beat lecture tour?
She likes the picture of Phil Hellmuth.
She's the best.
Phil, always obliging. All right, back to action. 4 players left. Grant Hinkle, the chip leader on the Milwaukee's Best Light Pocket Cam. 10-9 off suit.
He canceled 4 flights home as he keeps lasting longer in this tournament, and his mother got the last seat on a flight to get here and watch him yesterday.
He's going to raise it to $250,000. Theo Tran now can focus on his poker with Mike No gone. He's got ace-king.
Come on.
And Theo is going to push. 1.4 million and a little change. Chris Ferguson, pocket 8s.
Jesus won 5 bracelets between 2000 and 2003. He's now gone 5 years without winning a bracelet.
And Chris Ferguson moving all in with the pocket 8s. Hinkle folds, and Chris's girlfriend, Fabiola, looking very nervous.
I might have you dominated.
You might.
You have ace-queen?
I have a pair.
Oh, you have a pair?
So a race for all of Tran's chips.
And quite a contrast in table demeanor here. Theo will pace around. Jesus will barely breathe.
Hey, let's get it over with. Queen Jack 10 on the flop. Queen Jack 10, that's all. That's all I want.
Oh, he got the Jack 10.
All right.
Gets 2/3 of it. Pretty good request.
Ferguson still ahead.
So what? Backdoor clubs? I got the club, all right. I got the club.
Oh, don't do that.
I'm not allowed to touch them? They're my cards, though.
Theo's like the kid who's told not to play with the light switch, and then he plays with the light switch. And Jesus is Jesus.
Ferguson ahead right now with the 8s. Oh, not anymore. Tran pairs his king.
One out. One out.
Yeah, Theo picking up that club flush draw. So now only the 8 of hearts will knock out Theo Tran.
And now the river card is a 6, and Theo Tran will win the hand and double up.
I know, but I'm saying.
Theo Tran feeling it. First he saw Mike No go, and now he gets to pick up some chips.
Chris Ferguson severely crippled, under 300,000, and Fabiola might be preparing for an exit. Theo Tran now up over $3 million.
All right, now I'm like all energized now. I'm awake.
If you're awake, Theo, take off the hooded sweatshirt and stay a while.
Chris Ferguson back to familiar territory, short stacked with a lot of work to do.
How many chips you got?
I don't know. I just doubled up. I had 1.5. I doubled up. Yeah, 3.4.
Theo talking with one of his many bracelet-winning friends, David Williams. And on the chip count, Theo in second place, Grant Hinkle in control. Chris Ferguson is the short stack. So 4 players left. Grant Hinkle with ace-4, a weak ace at a short table is pretty strong.
Hinkle's another money-maker effect product. He started playing a lot of poker after Chris Moneymaker's 0-3 win.
Makes it $250,000 to play.
It's the second time he's raised 2.5 times the big blind. I think it's a Kansas City thing.
Theo Tran, wow, with a big ace. A raise in front of him.
Good call.
And he makes the call from the small blind. Chris Ferguson now.
Usually when he takes off his glasses, that means his action is done.
Yeah, and he does fold. So Tran and Hinkle heads up. Tran has Hinkle dominated. Here's the flop. It is ace-4, king, and ace is up for Hinkle. What a flop.
A dangerous flop for Theo Tran because he's got a pair of aces with the big kicker.
And he will check. Now to Hinkle. Tran maybe thinking that he's trapping Hinkle with that big ace. Hinkle bets $350.
I don't trust a 350,000 chip bet from a man who wears a watch.
Just another day at the office, eh, Blair?
It's not an office. It's a casino. Is she drunk?
All right.
Tran needs $350 to call.
Theo might be thinking all in here. You know he wants to say hidey-ho. Well, he's better not to go all in because he's behind, but I would have gone all in.
There's the call. So Tran and Hinkle to the turn now. Turn card is an ace, and Hinkle has turned a full house.
Full boat for Hinkle,
wow.
And 3 aces for Theo Tran, who's first to act.
Second best with trip aces. And Tran checks again.
Again, I thought Theo might have pushed right there, Lon. I mean, it's hard to put your opponent on the last ace in the deck. Theo's got to believe he's good.
Hinkle now.
700.
We'll make it 700,000 in the driver's seat.
7?
Theo's not going anywhere. The question is, does he want to check raise here? Which would be fatal.
It would. Just a call here. Theo will save some ammunition for the river, perhaps.
Theo doesn't know it, but he's looking for help on the river.
Yeah. Now the river card is an 8. Theo does not get the help. Hinkle with the check mark, holding that full house. Tran again first to act, of course. Reaching for chips. But now just checks.
No, he has checked each step of the way to Hinkle.
Now you talk about hidey-ho.
I really don't believe it.
I don't believe him either, Theo, and I can see his cards.
Tough moment for the Hinkles to watch.
Jesus is happy about this.
Jesus sitting pretty on the sideline at the moment. Big moment for Theo Tran. If he calls, he's done.
I call.
And he does call and shows his trip aces, and now sees Hinkles winning full boat. Tran is gone.
Can I fold there?
Theo goes thud very quietly. He never could get away from the hand. And now Grant Hinkle's got a lot of chips.
He is indeed the overwhelming chip leader. Everything seemed to be going so well for Theo Tran, and he goes out with a whimper in 4th place, winning over $327,000.
He outlasted Mike No, but he couldn't outlast the rest of this final table.
Blair Hinkle's the pro of the family, but older brother Grant's doing pretty well.
It's just a hunch, but I think she's texting Donald Trump.
Theo Tran was on a roll. He was up to $3 million, but it all came crashing down in one big improbable hand.
The 2008 World Series of Poker Player of the Year.
Mike Matusow and Daniel Negreanu were 2 of the best talkers in the game.
You know he plays like a donkey.
I did it again.
Yes!
They are also two of the best players, and this year, Matusow outplayed and outtalked.
I beat Tom Snyder, boys and girls. Watch out!
A final table that included some of the game's greats to capture his third bracelet. The victory tied him with his friend Negreanu until the very next day, that is, when Daniel won his fourth.
It's so difficult to even get to a final table, so to win is just an amazing feeling.
Maybe that will keep the mouth quiet.
I'll play circles around you idiots.
Or maybe not. All right, let's take a look at our Player of the Year leaderboard. That win has Negreanu in second place. Nanad Medic won his first bracelet this year. 13 other players tied with Nanad with 100 points.
I've been talking up Fu Wong all year. Nobody listens.
Right now, with 3 players left, Grant Hinkle is our chip leader with over 3/4 of the chips in play. James Akenhead in second place, $2.2 million. He was the chip leader when we started this final table, and Chris Ferguson is the short stack.
I still believe one day he will be the all-time leader in World Series cashes.
Speaking of cash, over $831,000 going to one of our final 3 players, Akenhead and Hinkle, each looking for their first World Series bracelet.
I'm going to let these guys fight it out.
Chris wants to sit on the sidelines and let the other 2 battle it out, but Chris is first to act. He looks down at King Queen off.
This is the 18th time Chris has finished in the top 5 at the World Series of Poker.
And he's moving all in with the King Queen. Ace 4 for Akenhead, suited.
That's a pretty good hand, 3-handed. Of course, he's got the big stack behind him.
And he will make the call for $380,000 more. Hinkle now in the big blind. Jack 7 offsuit. And he makes the call.
Well, with a little help here, Chris Ferguson can triple up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he likes this or hates it, but he's in no matter what.
Fabiola, if Chris starts to lose at poker, I love to dance.
A chance of triple up for Chris, but he's got a lot of work to do. So all 3 players to the flop, 8, deuce, 10. Ace high for Akenhead still leads.
That's just another lousy World Series flop. I'm going to talk to somebody about these flops.
Akenhead checks, and Hinkle checks a straight draw.
Check. Chris needs help to stay alive.
Still puts the shades on for the turn. Oh, and it worked. Ferguson hits his queen to take the lead.
Big card for Chris Ferguson.
Check from Akenhead. Check again from Hinkle.
Well, neither will bet, both hoping the other has cards to knock out Jesus.
River card now is a 6, and Ferguson with that check mark. Check again. And it's time to triple up Chris Ferguson.
Well, we see some rare emotion from Jesus. He can play a room when he wants to.
People counted Jesus out a number of times even before he got to this final table, but he does not have quit in him. Still 3-handed. Chris Ferguson with a lot of work to do, though, still short stacked. Action on James Akenhead. Queen 4. And he will fold. Chip leader, Grant Hinkle.
He's had a lot of cards hit him at this final table in a good way.
Suited Queen Jack, and he will try to push Chris Ferguson all in. Chris looks down and squeezes out Ace 8.
The gaming theory expert doing math in his head. His mind is an open calculator.
I call.
And he does call and put himself at risk again. So Ferguson all in with his Ace 8 against the Queen Jack suited of Hinkle. Boy, Chris not making it easy on his cheering section. Flop is Deuce King 7. That misses both. Ace high still leads for Ferguson.
Chris, a 73% favorite. Actually, he knows he's exactly a 72.8% favorite. It's amazing.
Turn card now. As Hinkle tries to knock off Ferguson, it's a 10, and Hinkle with an open-ended straight draw now.
And Chris now knows he's a 71.3% favorite over Grant Hinkle. And like me, Chris's girlfriend knows that Jesus has to avoid an ace, queen, jack, or 9 to stay alive.
River card is a 2, and Ferguson will double up.
Give us another fist pump, Chris.
So Chris Ferguson's entire tournament has been filled with smart and patient plays, but this latest is our planter's good instinct moment.
And he's back in business, approaching 3 million chips. I bet you he knows how many chips he has in euros.
There's really no getting rid of you.
I'm the cockroach. I'm the cockroach. Can't get rid of me. They've tried for a couple days.
So a triple up and a double up for Chris Ferguson, and his run for a 6th bracelet is still alive.
The Planter's Good Instinct moment is brought to you by Planters. Instinctively good. The 2008 World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. Bracelet event.
Back at the Rio, he was on the brink of elimination more than once, but with the help of a couple of big hands, Chris Ferguson once again a strong factor with 3 players left. Second place, a distant second place, Norman, but who knows?
I know, Lon, he can win.
Grant Hinkle now. He looks down at 9 deuce, and he won't give up his chip lead in this hand. He folds.
He'll wait to be Grandmaster Flash another time.
Ferguson, Jack 7 of hearts.
If I told Chris Ferguson I was pregnant with his baby, this would be his reaction. He gives nothing away.
Ferguson. Very deliberately, as usual, reaching for chips and measures out $350,000. Akenhead now, the big blind. Oh, wow. Pocket aces.
Big hand in the big blind.
Akenhead, the short stack now at this table, just calls.
And Lon, the young Brit, disguising the strength of his hand against the supernatural Ferguson.
Here we go to the flop. Queen, 9-8, a couple of hearts.
Obviously, before we get any phone calls, I could not be pregnant with anyone's baby.
Akenhead leads with the aces, but Ferguson with flush and straight draws.
Only 8 men in World Series history have more bracelets than Chris Ferguson.
Ferguson is going to push, and an immediate call from Akenhead. Akenhead, the one at risk. He's not so sure about his aces anymore.
What, 6 flop?
Akenhead a bit disgusted by that flop. It's pretty much of a coin flip right now with Akenhead's tournament life at risk.
Akenhead over with his buddies. Ferguson left alone at the table.
Chris with a powerful draw with a shot to knock out Akenhead.
Here's a spades on the turn. No improvement for Ferguson. Akenhead at risk.
Ferguson needs a 10 for a straight or a heart to knock out Akenhead.
It's a 3 of clubs, and Akenhead wins the hand to double up and deliver a terrific blow to Chris Ferguson.
Yeah, just like that, they swap positions on the chipboard.
Chris Ferguson not out, but down again. And Akenhead in a much stronger position.
I had the hand he didn't want to see.
Yeah, he certainly did. I was in trouble with your hand.
Cockroach is still here.
Sometimes you need a square-toed shoe to kill a cockroach.
Akenhead could not put the hurt on Chris Ferguson. $831,000 in cash to one of these 3 final players. And someone seemed to have misplaced a green chip worth $25,000. Tournament official looking for it. It's hidden against the rail, and he gives it to Grant, of course.
Why are they giving it to Grant? That could be Jack Strauss's chip from the 1982 main event.
Chris is looking for chips, too.
Oh, those are mine.
Everyone wants those chips, or at least one chip from Grant.
You got to earn them. All right, Chris Ferguson now looking for a way to climb back into this race. King 10 suited. Ferguson going to try to make it happen right now, all in.
Yeah, he had about 8 big blinds left. Not a lot of room to maneuver.
Akenhead with ace-10.
Cool.
And he'll make the call. Try to finish the job he started a moment ago. Hinkle gets out of the way.
He got me dominated.
Again, Akenhead holding better than Ferguson.
Ace-10 versus King-10. Ace-10 King-10.
What are you guys doing? Spades, right?
with 55 players left in this tournament, Chris had 7,000 chips. He doubled up 4 straight times. He made it to 400,000 by the end of the day. He has been tough to exterminate.
Yeah, we've seen him triple up and double up just recently. Now he's going to have to do it again from behind. The flop, queen, 8, ace, and Akenhead hits his ace. But Ferguson is not going away without a good sweat.
Jack of spades. Let's get that jack of spades.
Yeah, Chris picked up a straight draw. A jack would give him Broadway. He also get runner spades.
King wouldn't help too much. Help a little. Give me 2 out, 3 outs.
Calculator working again in Ferguson's head.
I'm in a little trouble.
Turn card, 4 of clubs does not help. Well, Chris thinks he's done.
Oh, I got a jack. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Chris lost his head for a moment, Lon. He thought he was drawn dead. Chris does need a jack and a jack only, or he is done.
And now the river card. It is a 5 of hearts, and Akenhead will finally put away Chris Ferguson.
His bracelet drop continues. Number 6 will have to wait.
He'll win over $388,000 for 3rd place, but what a tremendous run for an all-time great player.
Indeed, Chris outlasts all but 2 of the 3,929 players. Another stellar showing for Chris Ferguson.
But now we are heads up. James Akenhead and Grant Hinkle each looking for their first World Series bracelet. A record field of nearly 4,000 entered. Now only 2 remain. James Akenhead, the former train driver, going full speed ahead towards the title. And Grant Hinkle, with the support of his brother and mom, looking to make winning this tournament a family affair. Only one will walk away with a bracelet and over $800,000. And Grant Hinkle right now enjoying a little more than a 2-to-1 chip advantage on James Akenhead.
Both are celebrating birthdays in a couple of days. Akenhead will turn 25. Hinkle will turn 28.
Akenhead, the chip leader when we started the final table, hopes to be the chip leader when we finish the final table.
Well, actually, Lon, I'd like to keep this bracelet in the USA if we could. Huh?
Yeah, I hear ya. Akenhead, Jack 8 offsuit, limps in from the small blind. Hinkle, Queen 8 offsuit, will check his option. So a limped pot. And here's the flop, and it's 9 Queen Jack. Both hit their best card, but Hinkle leads with top pair.
And they both have an identical straight draw.
Hinkle checks it. Akenhead with middle pair. Healthy bet of 175.
Hinkle gets poker advice from his brother Blair. Akenhead is sharing a house this summer with fellow members of the poker-playing hit squad. I'm sure they talk poker all night long.
Blair Hinkle makes the call with top pair. Akenhead now looking for a double up here. It heads up to overtake Blair Hinkle. Turn card is a 7 of clubs. Hinkle's queens still lead. He checks.
Grant checks.
Well, you see the percentages. Grant Hinkle with a stranglehold on this hand.
Akenhead has to feel his jacks are pretty strong right now. Hinkle has only been following, not leading. Akenhead now, again more than half the pot, 375.
Grant Hinkle calls with top pair and that straight draw. Remember, both with an identical gut shot straight draw.
All right, so now the river card. And it is another jack, a miracle card for Akenhead. He gets the check mark with trips.
He was behind every step of the way until now.
Hinkle checks a 3rd time. And Akenhead lining up his troops. How much will he bet? 800,000.
800,000.
800,000.
Akenhead bet after the flop, after the turn, and after the river.
As she has been during the late stages of this tournament, Len Hinkle over the shoulder of her son Grant.
Grant is getting 2.5 to 1 on his money to call here. You know, I'd be so undecided what to do. I'd ask his mother.
Call.
Hinkle makes the call with queens and jacks, but it's the 3 jacks of Akenhead that will win the pot. And a big win at a critical time for James Akenhead.
Hinkle shows the bad beat that was delivered upon him.
Mom says, why didn't he check raise all in after the turn?
I guess she doesn't text bad news. Well, Akenhead gathering in some luck, but I'm telling you, Lon, I don't feel like shipping this bracelet out to the old British Empire.
All right, so Akenhead much stronger now. You see Grant Hinkle's chip lead has shrunk $6.5 million to $5.3.
Both these players like to play aggressively.
Akenhead's best tournament cash ever was $44,000 just a couple of weeks ago in a UK event. He's guaranteed at least $500,000 tonight. Hinkle, 10-4 of diamonds.
350.
And he's going to raise it to $350,000.
That's an odd bet. $320,000 would have been a min raise. $350 is a min raise, I guess, with a sales tax.
Ace-king for Akenhead.
A bracelet, he says, would complete him. I don't know who he would do then for the next 60 years.
All right, so the small raise to Akenhead.
1.2.
And he's going to push it even further, $1.2 million with ace-king.
See, that's how you raise, Lon. That's why Great Britain used to have colonies worldwide. Push the other guy out.
And that should be exactly what happens with his 10-4.
All in. Cool.
All in.
All in. And a call from Akenhead, of course.
Oh, Lord.
Hinkle's been caught.
Jeez.
You have a pair?
No, he doesn't have a pair. Grant is embarrassing America here, Lon, not to mention his mother. Grant, you're making England look good again.
Akenhead technically at risk, but his ace-king against the 10-4 suited of Hinkle.
And Grant looks like he's been caught with his hand and foot in the cookie jar. And Akenhead poised to take control.
Well, Grant finding some humor in the situation. Not sure Blair and Lynn are. All right, so Akenhead at risk, ready for the flop now. The flop 10-4-10! Oh, my! Hinkle flops a full house!
That is somewhat remarkable. Grant is back. The Hinkles are back. America's back. We're a superpower, baby.
Oh, my goodness. Akenhead cannot believe what he has just seen.
That's incredible. This is over. Akenhead would have to hit running aces or running kings. Oh. Grant Hinkle is going to have bragging rights on his brother, and he can fly home first class. What a flop.
All right. Not over just yet. Now the turn card. Now it's over! Quad tens for Hinkle gives him his first bracelet.
Why not?
And astonished James Akenhead can only politely congratulate Grant Hinkle.
And Grant apologizing there for his reckless play that swept Akenhead out of here.
You've heard the expression, it was in the cards. Well, with a measly 10-4 to start, it was indeed in the cards this title tonight. A proud Lynn Hinkle watches her son collect the spoils of victory.
Lynn deserves a lot of credit. She raised a good boy and a World Series champion.
Tonight's final table featured an intense rivalry.
I want him out of here.
And a poker legend who wouldn't go down without a fight. But in the end, it was Grant Hinkle with his mom and brother squarely in his corner who quietly moved up the leaderboard and took home the bracelet.
Credit your mother or your brother Blair more for this bracelet?
Definitely my brother Blair.
Wait. Who gave birth to the man?
Your mother points out that she conceived you.
Yeah, she just has to make sure she embarrasses me at every moment possible.
It's an embarrassment of riches on this night for Grant Hinkle. For Norman Chat, I'm Lon McCarran. See you next time from the World Series of Poker.